Hey everyone, welcome to another very exciting Photoshop CS5 tutorial for Phototuts.com. I'm Silva and today we're gonna learn how to create this really nice old photo style effect completely with Photoshop. In this case I'm using the version CS5, but I think CS4 has the same features that we're gonna use in this tutorial. And something that I want to highlight in this tutorial is the importance of using non-destructive techniques, which basically means that we apply an effect to the image and we can change it anytime we want during the process if we need. And you're gonna understand why why working with non-destructive techniques is so important for the workflow. So this is the image I'm gonna use in this tutorial. You can download this image. I'm gonna make sure to give you the link. And the first step is to apply a curves adjustment, but remember, non-destructive techniques, which means we need to use an adjustment layer instead of going to image adjustments and apply the effect. So that's really important. So select curves. Now let's work with the red channel, and the idea for the red channel is increase the reds on the highlights. So make a point right in the middle, a new one in the shadows area, and increase the reds on the highlights like this. Okay, now select the green channel, and the idea here is to make a point in the middle and increase the greens on the highlights and then in the shadows like this. I mean, decrease them in the shadows, obviously. Like this. Alright, now let's move on for the blue channel, and here what I want to do is decrease the blues on the highlights and increase the blues on the shadows. So push this point down a little bit and this point up a little bit like this. Alright, now let's work with the RGB channel, and here what I want to do is to increase the contrast on the image. So let's create a point on the highlights because I want to turn the highlights even brighter and I want to turn the shadows even darker. So make something like this, and we can also create a new point right here in the bottom and create a straight line in the base of the graphic like this. So we get an high contrast image, and we can close this window. Okay, so the next step is to create a new adjustment layer. In this time select levels, and what I want to do is to turn the blacks even darker so we can create a really nice and dramatic effect. But if you don't want to create a dramatic effect, you can just create a levels effect like this, but instead of push this black point a little bit further right, what you should do is push these points here a little bit further right. So basically what you're doing is to wash the blacks. I mean, you're gonna look gray like this, and you get something that's not dramatic. But if you want to create the old style and dramatic effect, what I recommend to do is push these points a little bit further right like this, and maybe this gray one a little bit further right like so, and close this window. Now, since we want to create an old style effect, we must reduce the saturation of the colors. So let's create a new adjustment layer. In this time select hue and saturation. Now I don't want to reduce the saturation all the way to -100, but maybe -60 should work pretty nice, like so, and press enter. Close this window. Alright. And in the next step we're going to start creating this really nice brownish and yellowish tone on the overall image. To create these colors, I'm gonna create two different filters. First, a gradient map, and then a photo filter to work different areas of the image. So let's get started with the gradient map. Create a new adjustment layer, and right in the bottom of the fly menu, select gradient map. Okay, click over the gradient to edit the colors, and the first color has a code E4 9F 26, press enter and enter, and the second color is white, so leave it white and close the window. Now I'm gonna keep the blending mode normal, but I'm going to reduce the opacity to about 25%. Obviously this value can change with your image if you're using a different image than mine, but 25% should work really well. But it's a matter of preference, so try different values if you will, and press enter. Now, like I said, the next step is create a photo filter effect. So again, adjustment layers and select photo filter. Now select color, and the color you should get is this one, which has the code EC8A00. That's the default color that Photoshop used for this adjustment layer. Again, EC8A00 and press OK. Now for the density, I'm gonna leave it at 25%. It works pretty nice, and make sure to turn on the option preserve luminosity and press OK. Now I don't want the photo filter applied to the overall image. I just want the photo filter on the sky and maybe a little bit on the church, but I think the trees start looking too much yellow and I don't want it. So select the layer mask of this adjustment layer. Now select the brush tool, go to window and select brush. Now select transfer and make sure to select it. And here on opacity jitter, select pen pressure, so we can control the opacity of the brush with the pressure of the pen. Obviously, I'm using a digital tablet. It's a Wacom, really nice, and it's not really expensive. But if you don't have a digital tablet, you can do this task with a mouse, no problem. You just need to change the opacity values here on the top. So let's get started. Select black for the brush, and let's remove the effect and let's remove the effect on the trees like this. Remove the effect a little bit on the church. Make just a little bit of pressure. Like so. That's the idea. Now if we want to create a null image, we must create some noise on the image like this. So now let's duplicate the first image, so the original layer. Press Command J, and now since we want to work with non-destructive techniques, I'm going to convert this layer to a smart object like this. So right click and select Convert Smart Object. Now, the advantage of working with smart objects is we can work with smart filters. Again, so we can change the smart filters anytime we want. So it's basically the filters of Photoshop, but you can edit them anytime you need. So select the layer and go to Filter, Noise, Add Noise. Now, for the amount, I'm going to work with 15, okay. Make sure to select Uniform and turn off the option Monochromatic, and press OK. Alright, it starts looking really nice, but there's one thing left we must do in order to create a really nice old style effect, which is apply a nice vignette effect on the image. So select the background copy. In this case is a copy of the original image. Again, go to Filter and select Lens Correction. Alright, now select Custom. And here on the amount, turn the amount to about -50, and push the midpoint also for the left till you get something like this. Press OK, and voila, that's the vignette effect. I think it looks really nice. And actually that's the final effect. So we added some colors with the curves, and we also used the curves to give some contrast to the image. The levels turn the blacks even darker, or if it's your case, to wash the blacks. We have the hue and saturation, gradient map, and photo filter to give a nice yellowish tone. And we have the lens correction, obviously, to the vignette effect, and also the noise, which gives this really nice noise on the image, so it looks really realistic. So that's the final effect. I think it looks pretty nice. And obviously the advantage of working with non-destructive techniques is you can change these effects. So if you think you want the blacks even darker, no problem, just double click on the labels effects and turn the blacks even darker like this. If you want to wash the blacks a little bit, no problem, you can wash the blacks. So you can change anything you want, anytime you want. So again, if you want to decrease the saturation, you can decrease the saturation to -70, for example. that's okay. So that's really the advantage of working with non-destructive techniques. So thanks for watching, I really hope you like this tutorial, and if you want to watch my latest Photoshop CS5 tutorials, please visit my YouTube channel at youtube.com/directw2. And if you want to contact me, if you want to ask me anything about Photoshop, you can also contact me via Twitter, twitter.com/directw2, the link will be below. And also post a comment on this video, I really like to read your comments. So thanks for watching again, and I will see you later.